Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we're joined by a very special guest, Northern Michigan Warhounds forward Channing Gorzak. He's been around in the APHL and the MIHL the last couple years with the Kalkaska Battlers in the APHL and the MIHL, the Pittsburgh River Monsters for a quick stint there, and now he's with the Northern Michigan Warhounds in the APHL. But he also spent time with the Danbury Hat for a little bit in the Federal Prospects Hockey League and played 4 years of NCAA Division III college hockey at New England College and spent a few years playing junior hockey in Seacoast Spartans Prep, as well as playing the MIHL with the Northern Cyclones. So, Channing, I'm really excited to get you on the show. So, welcome to the show, Channing Gorzak.
Thank you for having me. Should be a good conversation.
Yeah, of course. It's great to get you on, and like I just want to start things off with like getting like going through like your youth career here a little bit, like your favorite moments playing youth hockey. You're from Jeanette, Pennsylvania, so like what was it like growing up in Pennsylvania with youth hockey?
Yeah, at the time, Pennsylvania was nice. Youth hockey had really taken off there already. So we had the Penguins that were not as strong when I was younger, but stronger previous decades. So we had all the rinks, super accessible. The rink I grew up playing in was 10 minutes from my house up, it's called Center Ice in Delmont, PA. And started there from house league to mini mites to I think I played there the whole way through squirts and then moved to a rink a half hour away for Pee Wee. Played for the Pittsburgh Vipers. They were a double A program. And then after that, everything gets a little fuzzy. There was a hybrid team in there, 97 Pens, which was the birth year team. I got to play for the Pittsburgh Junior Penguins. We got to go up to the International Quebec tournament, which was awesome. Probably by far my best youth hockey memory. And then played out uh, with the Pittsburgh Selects that took off after that, which was a newer program because Lemieux kept the Pens franchise name. So his brother Alain Lemieux started the Pittsburgh Selects and played a triple A schedule pretty much from Pee Wee on.
It seems like a good start to your youth hockey career and everything there. And like you said, like some of your favorite moments as well. So like what really got you into the game of hockey and like why did you ultimately choose to play hockey? Like what was the moment that you're like, this is what I want to do?
I honestly have no idea. I know I know when I was younger, my parents had season tickets to the Pittsburgh Penguins, so I was always around the rink from a young age. I had pucks signed by Yuri Slegor, old-time Penguin, Kevin Stevens, who during my youth hockey career I ran into. Coincidentally, he's the number I wore 25, and I ran into him. We got locked in a elevator in Philadelphia together. So um, I don't know. When I was 3 years old, my dad was a paramedic. He had hand-me-down skates that his coworker gave to him, and it was cold enough in Pennsylvania. We flooded the back deck to see if I would like it, and I did. My parents said I stayed out there for a couple hours, and then started taking me to learn to skate classes and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it all starts on the pond in the winter, like whether it be like on the actual pond, like on like a sheet of ice, like that's like it's always a good time even now going back and just skating on the pond and just enjoying playing the game when like how you first started when you're growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think pond hockey brings a lot of good memories back, and
It
I'm
does.
still lucky enough to get a pond to freeze over here or there in Pennsylvania. So
Yeah, just do a little ones action, just go that's where everyone gets their skills from is from pond and you put it into the game in a gameplay when you're actually playing and so, I mean sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the pond anything goes.
yeah, pretty much. At least it teaches you how to handle bad pucks that are bouncing. I don't
Yeah,
think I've
because the
ever had a
pucks are
bad
always
puck
bouncing
settle.
on the pond there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you went throughout like youth hockey. You played high school for Pennsylvania for in Pennsylvania for a little bit, and then you made that jump into junior hockey with the Northern Cyclones while you also were with their AAA program as well. So like, what was that transition going from AAA with the Northern Cyclones to being on their junior team in the Met?
Yeah, it was different, that was for sure. I moved up there at 16, lived with a billet family. Uh, the billet brother was on the junior A team, so he was my ride to and from the rink, and it kind of started. I got hot early on in the season, and the junior coach started to take notice, but didn't want to throw me. That was the first year of the EHL, so he didn't want to throw me right in there with the 21-year-olds and had me play a couple of the games in the Met. I think I did that 2 years in a row. My 16s and 18s year, I played Met games, which was a lot faster. It was a wake up call for sure. I got my bell rung first game against the Valley Junior Warriors. Won't forget that. I think that was the first time I ever had tunnel vision in my life from a hit. But really showed you the difference, kind of how players possess the puck, the speed, the strength, um, kind of all that combined. Because you could be a standout player in AAA, and juniors, there's always someone bigger and stronger that you kind of got to go up against and take it from there.
Yeah, and like especially your bell rung the first game you're out there, like you're like, oh, like this is a lot harder than I thought. Like I actually gotta like do like prepare for this more seriously. So like how do you prepare for it? Like once you actually understood like the how strong the other kids are, like the skill level is obviously better in the Met J than when you're playing AAA. So like what do you have to do to really get yourself ready for junior hockey if you're going to continue to play that route?
Yeah, luckily, like I was with the junior guys. I was doing online school my junior and senior year of high school, so I would go to the rink at 7 a.m. and I'd be there till I got home at 5:30. Um, Seeing their work ethic, and it's like kind of a vulnerable time where you think you know workouts, but you don't know productive workouts. So
Yeah.
kind of having those older 20-year-old or age out guys taking you under your wing and showing you what they do and how they do it. Um, rep counts, sets, all the fun stuff, how to get more power. Um, all that was super important, and can't thank those guys enough. And then from there on, it's just staying true to yourself, staying in the gym, and trying to get as strong as possible, as quick as possible, and then maintaining it throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. You just gotta find ways and find ways to get the productive reps and productive workouts because like you said, like you don't know when you first start, you don't know what you're doing. You're just putting up weight and saying, "Oh, I'm lifting weights, like I must be doing something." But like once you actually like realize like what you need to do, like it helps your game, especially in the long run when you're training in the off season. Like now especially just training in the off season, like you're lifting weights to feel good and you actually know what you're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. And so many workouts I'd do back then that turn out, to be useless. Just so much goes into it now. There's so much technology behind those workouts for, a lot of the leg stuff now, single leg for power and
Yeah.
quickness, and so much just has evolved from the time I was in juniors, whether it was a knowledge thing for me or just being around the right people necessarily.
Yeah, you just gotta find ways and just continue to belt out productive workouts. But you spent the next couple years in Seacoast with the Spartans and juniors and U18 as well throughout the next 2 years. So like what was it like in Seacoast and just because you produced a lot of points in those couple years that you were there. So like what made you so successful throughout that time to really help you get into like the college game eventually?
Yeah, I think honestly it was mainly confidence. Like it's one of those things as a forward, like when you're hot, you kind of stay hot. when
Yeah.
you're slumping. But the coaches never let ego, so to say, to get to your head. Like when I was with the Cyclones, I was the prize kid at the time for that U16 team. So I was able to get D1 looks and all that, but I couldn't do any wrong in their eyes. When I left to go to Seacoast, it was a clean slate. I was recruited in there by the late Mike Odessa. He was a former scout for Vancouver. He was our owner and general manager at the time, and then walked into a brand new coach, Kurt Mallett, who I had never seen again. Well, I'd seen again, but he hadn't seen me play yet. His first time
Yeah.
was at Hockey Night in Boston and in Boston. So I think kind of letting the ego go that I had there, and then finally realizing here's what I need to do to compete and stay competing at this level was super important. It was nice. They were a independent junior team, so they weren't really in a league. So we were playing EHL teams, USP, HL premier teams. They're elite teams. We'd start the season almost like a NCDC, not an NCDC schedule, a USDP schedule. How they start at juniors and then go to colleges halfway through.
Yeah.
We'd start at elites, produce, and then once everyone got their confidence and the lineup got settled a little bit better, we'd jump up and play the premier teams.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just get like the whole mix of everything to boost that confidence and play the tougher teams. Like, how important is that confidence? Like, obviously, we all know as hockey players, like confidence is key to have success. Like, how do you stay consistent with that confidence when you're going throughout a season?
I think a lot of it is just touches of the puck. You also kind of have to know your skill. So uh, no matter how fast you move up or where you move up to, everything's going to get faster. It's more
Yeah,
physical. So realizing that you have half second less with the puck, you got to kind of really work on your strengths to gain more space, more time, all of that stuff. Your passes have to be crisper. An errant pass through the middle could go to the back of the net. And the next thing you know, you could be scratched the next night.
yeah,
So a lot goes into it, but I mean, when you're doing the right things and you're getting rewarded with the ice time and stuff, it's nice and easy for you to remain confident. It's when you're going through the slumps that you got to kind of get back to the basics of doing everything to find that confidence again.
yeah, for sure. It's all about like the small details and just getting into like that confidence and like that experience with the gameplay and everything like that. And then yeah, obviously with like the slump, like it sucks being in a slump, so you just got to go back to the basics and like go back to having fun with the game too. Because like in so many times in slumps, you're like, oh, like you fall out of love with the game, but like once you like really get back to the basics and fall back in love with the game, like that's when I think you overcome a lot of the slumps as well.
Yeah, I think I owe that a ton. I didn't realize it till now, but the
Yeah,
Billet family and their kids, because no matter they didn't care how good or bad you played, they wanted to play knee hockey every night. So it really gave you that goldfish mentality of just forgetting about it, and you're right back to it the next day, which is the nice thing in juniors. You don't have a long wait period. You're playing,
yeah.
you know, 2 to 3 games a week with practices and everything else.
Yeah, you just go right back into it and you're enjoying having the time with like your billet brothers and just playing knee hockey like you said, like gets you away from thinking about being at the rink while also having fun playing some type of hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then after your time in juniors came to a close, you started looking at colleges and you went NCAA D3 with New England College. So, like, what was that decision like to go to New England, and what was the process like to commit there?
Um, yeah, so they came, it was my 19-year-old, 20-year-old season. So I had a season before age out and I was kind of undecided whether I wanted to play another year of juniors, try to go to college. When I heard they were looking at me, they sent me out there. I got to watch a game. They absolutely annihilated the poor team they were playing against, but I got to go see the fans on home ice, and I mean, they put up 11 goals on them, so I got to hear the goal horn plenty. But it never really came to until the end of the season. Um, their coach actually stopped me. I was on my way to the hospital to get x-rayed because I had separated my shoulder that game. And he asked if I had 5 minutes, and I said, yeah, of course I do. And that's also the last game. You don't want to leave your guys with 5 minutes left in the third period before saying
Yeah.
bye, knowing when or where you were going to see him again. But he sat down, talked to me. He was understandable as to being a kid at that age, whether you want to play your last year, see if you get other offers or continue on. And I don't think I actually made that decision until June or July. I applied to the college, got in. It helped. I had a couple buddies from Seacoast that were already there, uh, Pat Bartolomucci and Pat DeBloy, uh, who I knew there, and Snapchat was a thing. So I saw them having the time of their lives, having fun at college. And for me, it was big. My major. So I majored in environmental sciences, but not a lot of the schools that were looking at me had that major there. They were one that did big fishermen. They had a river going right through campus, so it was a really a perfect fit for me right off the bat. Um, I applied, told the coach, and next thing you know, it was 2017. I was a freshman kid in high school or college.
Yeah, time flies and you're just in college, and what a view to have a river right by the campus, and like that's perfect for your major too. It's like they everything goes hand in hand, hockey, environmental science, like a river right there, like can't go wrong with all that.
Yeah, especially like all those classes, it was so easy to be hands-on with, which it's my type of learning. I can't read a book, so doing stuff with my hands and learning how to do it helped me out, I think, in the longer run than anything else.
Yeah, that's all you can do when you're just when you learn just hands on and like that. That's how how you worked. But you went into your freshman year and you played 11 games right away out of out of the season. So like what was your first year of college hockey like? And I'm sure that transition was probably a bit of a struggle as well.
Yeah, it was. So much had gone on because uh, Division III, your schools have to hold an open tryout, and you get there your first day, you're meeting all the other freshmen, and hockey players find hockey players, right? So I think my freshman year, there were only 8 of us that made the team. Well, when you walked in and you were meeting everyone, there were 25 freshmen there for hockey. So it kind of made you a little bit uneasy knowing your spot wasn't
Yeah.
secure. And luckily, we were able to show the guys that made the team. We were able to show our strengths through the two-a-day tryouts, and I ended up making the team. And it was a lot faster, I think, than what I thought going in, because I had played with the kids that were already there and kind of knew how I compared against them.
Yeah.
But you take that, go out and you play Norwich, and Norwich's freshman class could all be Division I. Like
Yeah.
they're such a solid program, and when you're in the same conference, you're playing them anywhere from 4 to 6 times the season. So you had that in. Ran into some injury problems too. I had cracked 2 of my ribs against Babson, so
Ouch.
that never helped, and it just the learning your role too was the biggest one. I came from juniors. I was a point producer. I was everything else. Freshman year of college, I wasn't really producing, so I kind of had to settle into a fourth line, get the puck deep, just kind of tire them out for the first line to come on. And I mean, it worked. It got me my spot on the team to stay, but there was a massive learning curve there. between juniors and NCAA.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, like you got to find that role. Like you know your role and like you're producing points, and then you go in, you're not producing like you just said, and you're like, oh, like what am I doing wrong that I was doing in juniors that I can't do in college, and it's a completely different game. Complete like guys are stronger, more skilled. So you got to find that role. So like how important was it to find that role and really get you into that spot, even if it was like a fourth line grind kind of role?
Yeah, it was super important too, and I think the Division III college hockey season's so short. On top of it, you're playing 25 games
Yeah,
in playoffs. So, it kind of taught me like if you're cold, you're coming out.
yeah,
You can't take off games because the second you have a off game and someone else scores a couple goals and they're hot, the coach is pretty much going to ride them. So it was a big learning experience.
yeah. You just got to find that role and really learn, really lean into it because that might be your only shot. But then you got into 19 games and 21, and then the COVID year hit the 2021 season. So like, what was it like going throughout those next 3 years before getting a shot in the Fed with Danbury?
It was a ride. It was so many ups and downs through that whole college career. I was fortunate well, 3 years because they never did rankings for college the fourth year, but each three of those first years we are up there nationally ranked top 15 for at least a week. It's also taught you that there wasn't a team that you could take off because even the bottom teams in that league, they were gunning for you because you were
Yeah,
nationally ranked. And then you're playing games against other nationally ranked teams where you got a bad game, it's going to be a football score. And every team has the firepower to do that at that level. Everyone's a skilled player. Even the fourth line guys could pull off a toe drag and go bar down, and you wouldn't
yeah,
know what hit you. So I think a lot of that, it was a ride, but it showed me I was fortunate to play with a ton of good players. Really take me under their wing and show me their little nicks and tricks to create time and space for themselves. The biggest one, was a pretty big name. He's a Monroe this year. Carlos Fernandez was my line mate for a while. So that's a kid that's so skilled that was willing to take me under his wing, um, show me what he did, and just kind of work with me on it because we had the rink on campus. So any free time we
yeah.
had, we could go skate. And after that, it's finding out what guys whose class schedule matches up with yours, so you could all go out and work on skill stuff throughout the day before practice.
Yeah, just gotta find ways to get better, especially in a tight schedule like that and such a short season too. And then like and then like you've been saying, like NCAA Division III college hockey is really good as well. And like that's what people don't understand. Well, now they're more understand that, but Division III is still really good hockey and can take on a couple of those D1 schools as well.
Yeah, I fully believe that. I think Norwich beat a D1 school last year or the year prior. Um, it's insane, and they come out
Yeah,
of nowhere. They're these small schools all over New England, and Michigan has a couple. Minnesota has a few, and there's guys that move. Carlos Fernandez, right out of college, went to the ECHL. I played with Bryce Nielsen, who was an SP ECHL guy. Connor Fries, who still in the SP. These guys have long careers, and they came out
yeah,
of a Division III school, and I mean, that's just scratching the surface. My roommate's playing professionally in Italy. He's on the Italian national team. So he's still playing a high caliber hockey, but that's the fun thing. You get friends from all over the globe, and
yeah.
it's awesome. You get to go through a language barrier with them, and that really connects you.
Yeah, it creates good memories and a good bond with your teammates as well. And like you said, like you play with guys in the SB, the Coast, the Fed. overseas, and you got your shot in the Fed too with Danbury or when you got out of school. So like, what was it like being in Danbury and seeing professional hockey like from like your perspective?
Yeah, it was amazing. I honestly can't tell you much about the first game. I was too amped up. I know we played Watertown, and um, I know I had a couple of shots here or there, but that was the first time long I was playing the game competitively. Not a long time, I guess, a couple months,
Yeah,
but um, it was amazing to go into those rinks, see the support behind those teams. You go into Watertown, that's a small rink, but they pack it. It's
yeah,
so loud. And then I got to go on that road trip where they were in Watertown. Binghamton was a packed house in mid-December, and it's amazing. You're starstruck through warm-ups at all those people out there, the 8-year-olds holding signs against you guys. And the other one was Carolina, Winston-Salem. I got to go down there and play the Thunderbirds over. That was New Year's Eve game, and not only that, but just to see how welcoming all those teams are and all the guys
yeah.
are. You're constantly welcoming you in and helping you out or giving you pointers on the bench. They really want to be successful, and you could see that just as a newcomer early on.
Yeah, for sure. It's all a big atmosphere in the Fed and the pro ranks, and like it's cool to see the fan support and everything, and you learn a lot from those games. Like, what were some of the things you learned from playing the Fed?
Yeah, just possession is almost
Yeah,
everything at the at that pro level. College was so run and gun. It was very prep school hockey like, where it was checkers, and then you hit the pro ranks, and the game suddenly turned into chess. You were regrouping more. There weren't as many dumps. You wanted the puck on your stick. You wanted to take control of that game, and everyone else did too, which
yeah,
was amazing to see the patience on some of those guys. They'd hold on to the puck forever, and then suddenly a lane would open and someone's breaking back door for a goal. It's
yeah,
insane to see the composure those guys have.
yeah. It's all about possession and just taking control of the game, and that's how teams win games in those leagues. But then after you play in the Fed, you play in the MIHL with the Kalkaska Battlers and the APHL with Kalkaska as well. And now you're with the Northern Michigan Warhounds. Like, what has been your experience with like the mill and then the APHL as well in Kalkaska?
It's been awesome up until I found Kalkaska. I wasn't sure if I was done playing. I actually got the call. I moved my wife down here. She's active duty in the Navy, and I moved her down here that weekend. And Andrew Dibble, the owner of Kalkaska in Northern Michigan, had reached out to me and just threw a feeler out there like, "Hey, we're having main camp. I don't know if you want to come up and skate." And ended up being the perfect time for me because
Yeah,
well, she was my fiance at the time, but I had just moved my fiance down here. I had nothing else to do on weekends, so I figured I'll make a track up north to Kalkaska and see what it's about, and instantly fell in love with that town. All the guys that were there, Sean Doyle, just
yeah,
probably one of the most personable guys I think I've ever seen. He's open with everybody,
yeah,
and it was awesome. We got hammered early on in the season, but brand new team and growing pains. And then we finally got the home weekend, and the whole town showed out. It felt like it was an amazing atmosphere. And I think it was kind of shocking to me because I remember Doyle coming in the locker room, these like guys opening, they're announcing the roster. We're going to go through this way. He's like, seriously, take a moment, take it all in because everyone's here. Like, I don't know if there was an empty seat that weekend. And I had my buddy up there, Perry Shiring, who you interviewed, and
yeah,
we got to experience that together. So that was kind of, I think, like his real first taste in front of that amount of fans, and they showed out. And then the second year, they made the jump to the APHL, and that was when I moved down here to South Carolina. So I wasn't able to make as many games. And after the first season, I continued to tell myself, I'm like, I don't know, it's going to be expensive. I can't drive 15 hours every weekend.
Yeah.
And Andrew Dibble had the idea. He said, military night, come up, have your wife drop the puck, and come play a game. And at that point, there wasn't any ice down here. So,
Yeah.
well, I hadn't on the ice yet, but so I went up and played the game. And I remember I got home that weekend. I looked at my wife and I said, I'm not done. I gotta at least get playoff eligible because I miss it so much. There's
Yeah.
that some drive in playing a physical game that keeps you going back no matter what you feel like after it. And
Yeah.
we're able to make that work, and now we're in Northern Michigan, out of Gaylord, Michigan. So I'm excited to see what this season holds. Um, just being in the group chat with the guys, they all seem so nice, so personable. So I'm excited to go up there and finally be able to meet all the guys and go see all the returners again.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, and just like it's like it drives the competitiveness still, and like it's still like a good league. Like you're producing good quality talent, like guys in the Fed, the ESPYS could from or have played in the APHL and go up to the Fed like when they get call ups. Like it's good quality hockey. Like you're developing guys to for that next level too. So you can't go wrong with playing the APHL or the MIHL.
Yeah, I think that's like the most important thing. I could play men's league down here till I'm blue in the face, but you can only win or lose 11-1 so often. That league kind of ties all of it together. You have every team has two or three solid lines that are
Yeah,
either guys that have played or guys that are bounced back, or I mean, it's littered with talent everywhere,
yeah,
and that's what keeps all the games fun. It's what keeps them interesting, and I know that's what keeps me going back is the competitiveness of it.
yeah. That's awesome. Man. That's awesome, and like yeah, like the competitiveness, the good battles, like the friendships and connections you make. Like there's nothing better than that. And
Yeah,
you still get to
absolutely.
see different parts of the state and the world as well.
Yeah, that's true. I heard Gaylord has some elk, so
Yeah,
I've seen the ones in Pennsylvania. I may have to take a trip up there one weekend and in between games go elk hunting.
yeah.
Well, elk fighting.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That'll be good to get up there. But I think that's a good place to wrap this episode up. Like I had a lot of fun talking hockey, your career, Channing. So thank you again for coming on the show, and I really appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with the Warhounds this year.
Yeah, thank you. You too. It was fun.